Welcome back, guys. I'm doing something completely different. A few people suggested that I make a faction preview so that before one of you chooses a faction, you can kind of see what the faction has available, what kind of units it has. So it's going to be the first one. If it does well, I might make it off of another faction. This one's covering only the High Elves, so let's begin. So first unit, they're just called archers. They're high elf archers. We can right click and you can get some info. They're pretty good. Long range missile. That's kind of the best thing about them. They can shoot from really far away. The attack is okay. The missile attack's okay. The defense is kind of low. But they're not bad. Especially because they can shoot from far away. If you have enough of them, you can do a lot of damage before anyone gets close. And then we have the Elven Rangers. They're like the archers, but upgraded. They can also shoot long-range missiles, but they do quite a bit more missile damage, and they have better armor. And then we have the quel'dorei Dawn Runners. They are about the same as the Rangers. It's not a huge difference. They're kind of equivalent. Maybe a little bit better, but basically the same. And then we have our magic units. We have sorceresses. They hit really hard, and they also can modify their magic to do like a more fiery version of it that increases the damage it does, kind of like a fire arrow. And but they're very expensive, and I think they take 5 or 6 turns to recruit. So, but I would say they're worth getting. And then we have Priests of the Sun, and they do more damage, but as you can see, they're a lot more expensive. But I would say, oh, and they don't have access to the fire version of their attack, but I think they don't need it, right? And you get more of them. You get 20 of them instead of 15 of the sorceresses. And then the next one are the arcanists, and they're better than their sorceresses, but not as good as the Priests of the Sun. Because the Priests of the Sun, they hit slightly higher, and you get 20 of them instead of only 17 of the arcanists. And the arcanists are more expensive, so I would say definitely go with Priests of the Sun. I've seen them do better in battle. And then we have the General's Bodyguard, the Grand Magister's Bodyguard. So you're going to get these with most of your High Elf General's Bodyguard. And yeah, they're maybe the best spellcasters in this whole mod. So you're going to want to use a lot of them. So next, let's look at the Missile Cavalry unit, the quel'dorei Chariots. I've actually never used these, so I'm not really sure. But let's look at the stats. The stats look pretty good. Typical, kind of similar to horse archers. Oh, it says they have a special attack. Not sure what that is. But yeah, never used them. And then you have the Phoenix. I've seen these kind of glitch out, but they do have very high health because they have 3 hit points. So you have to basically kill them 3 times. Very high defense, high melee attack, but sometimes they can be glitchy. So I don't know. Try them out, see if it works for you, but I wouldn't really recommend a Phoenix. It's also really expensive, 8K. So now let's look at the melee units. So Arcane Guardians, these guys are really, really good. And despite them having super high hit points, high defense, high attack, they still count as infantry in the game, which means they can use ladders, they can use siege towers. If you've seen my high elf campaign, you might have seen that for yourself how effective they can be at taking walls. So definitely, as soon as you can take these, definitely recruit them. They also have excellent morale because they're, basically magic robots, so they never give up. Extremely good. Always get these. Next, we have the Brightwing Vindicators and their shiny, really epic looking armor. They're really good as well. Definitely get them as well. Excellent morale, very good stamina. Not too expensive as well. 2 hit points, pretty good. And then next, we have the quel'dorei Swordmasters. They're not as good as the Brightwing Vindicators, but they're pretty good. Not too bad. And then next we have the Foot Knights of quel'thas. Their attack is pretty bad. However, they do have high defense and they can make a shield wall. So if you have nothing better, yeah, get them. But I wouldn't really recommend it. And then we have Elven Silver Guards, Pike unit. They're okay. If you're dealing with a faction that has a lot of cavalry, then I would suggest recruiting them. But otherwise, they're not worth it. Better to get spellcasters or archers or some of these heavier infantry units. Then we have Elven Swordsmen. They're okay. The only thing that I would say that can potentially make them effective is they can make a shield wall, but their attack is pretty low. Defense is okay, but if you're dealing with like a slightly OP faction, these guys are gonna fail instantly. And then we have the Spellbreakers. They're the Spearman unit. They look really cool. They have excellent defense, and their attack is kind of low, but they're very cheap. Compare their recruitment cost to that of these guys. So if you have to choose between the Swordsman and the Spearman, definitely go with the Spearman because their stats are similar, but these guys are way cheaper. Next up we have Dragonhawk Knights, and they're pretty good. 8 hit points, very durable, and effective against armor. Fast moving, yeah, they're very fast. Pretty good. I would try them out. And they have these really cool looking elven swords. Hawkstrider Knights, way worse. Look at the prices. So this is only about twice as expensive. But look at the difference in stats. Only 1 hit point. These guys have 8 hit points. Really difficult to kill. That makes a huge difference. They're like giants riding fast-moving dragons. Way better. So definitely get these guys instead of these guys. Next we have the Knights of quel'thas. They're pretty good, pretty high defense, but only 1 hit point. So again, these guys are way more durable. And then who is the last one? Silver Guard Lancers. Yeah, not bad. Knights of quel'thas are better, but yeah, too expensive for what you're getting. You're 50 soldiers for 1.4k, but then with these guys, you're paying 8k, but the hit points last. They're almost. I don't want to say they're almost unkillable, but it takes a lot to kill them. So that's basically it. They also have an artillery unit, which I didn't cover. I couldn't fit into the custom battle lineup. But yeah, that's basically all the troops that the High Elves have. And really good unit roster. One of the best factions in the game. Check out the High Elf campaign that I did if you haven't seen it. A lot of people enjoyed it. And let me know if you like this faction preview. If it's useful to you, I can do more of them for other factions. I've played almost every single faction in Warcraft Total War, and leave a comment about which faction you would like to see a faction unit preview of next. So go to like if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more, and see you guys next time.